Hi there, everybody. It's Adam Bushnell, the author. Thank you so much for joining me again on day 7 of our live storytelling. I really appreciate your comments. Love all the pictures and things that you've been sending in as well, and particularly the bits of writing. It is officially holidays in the UK, and yet a lot of you are working very, very hard. So I applaud you. Thank you very, very much. And I made on Tuesday, got some pictures to share with you from there and from some of the earlier posts as well. First of all, this is by Nathan Franz Heselwood, and he has created the Bloodsucker Monster. Don't know if you can see that, but I think that's tremendous, fantastic. Now, the next one that we've got is... Oh, now this is a shout out actually to Noah Scott, who's in year 5 at St. Cuthbert's. Absolutely amazing that you're still working so hard, even in your holidays. So well done to you. I'll read you some of this writing that he's done. We've got, have you ever heard of a mysterious legend where a year 5 boy was kidnapped at midnight? And the creature that did it, still unknown today. No one has ever seen it except for the kidnapped boy. And then there's a whole story that's unfolded from there. And this is a picture of it. You ready? It's the lava pig. How cool is that? Fantastic job there. Well done to you, Noah. Next, this is by Olivia. And she has created the Liber Crocon. That looks awesome. I'm loving the unicorn horn. Over here, this is Thea. This is her ice creature. Great job, Thea. Well done. Then we've got, I'll swipe past some pictures there. We've got the Renadosus by Liam Taylor. Well done to you. Love those labels and descriptions that you've got with the powers, etc. Then we've also got Lucy Taylor's here. This is of the UPPL, the UPPL, which I'm sure stands for Unicorn, Pig and Leopard. Fantastic job, well done. Then over here, Olivia has created the Heart Ripper. Love that. And we've got a Lego model. Love a bit of Lego. This is by, if you can make that out, this is by Sam, who's age 7 at Emmaville School, and this is called Bone Crusher. Then we've got, this one is Head Snatcher. That one's from Jacob and Peter Lee. Well done to you. Then we've also got another Jacob, but this time from Woodley. This one is called Death Fire. And then this one here, we have got, this is by Ruby, and she's created a creature with a lion's head, tiger body, bunny feet, giraffe tail, parrot's wings, and it can even breathe fire. And then the last one for today is another Lego model, another one again from Emmaville. This is by Edward. And this is the Skin Ripper. Fantastic job. Well done. I loved all of your models, loved your pictures, loved your writing. Now, I don't know if you can remember 2 days ago, but I said that I was going to be telling a story that was to do with a demon devil dog. Actually, speaking of which, Belle, come here. Got a treat. Come and show everybody. Good girl. Come on then. Come on. I'll pop it there and see if you want to get yourself up. Here is Belle the dog, everybody. Can we all say hello to Belle the dog? Live chat isn't working today, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would have been able to get some live comments from you. So this is my pet. This is my pet, Belle the dog. She made a feature yesterday on my YouTube channel where I was reading the first chapter of Quests in Epica. We'll get her back involved later on, and hopefully she might have a starring role in our story today. Now, our story is all to do with Orpheus in the Underworld. Orpheus was a musician. Now, I'm not very musical myself, unfortunately. I do love music, and I love all kinds of different music, but I can't really play a musical instrument apart from this one. This is called a danmoy. This particular one is made out of bamboo. And if you can breathe, then you can play a danmoy. Would you like to hear it? Sounds something like this. It's certainly got Belle the Dog's attention anyway. And I've not only got a bamboo one, I've got one that's made out of metal. You get these all over the world, but these particular ones I picked up when I was in that wonderful country of Vietnam. Have a listen to this. Belle obviously liked that one a little bit less. And then this one is exactly the same as the last one, but it's a little bit thinner. And because it's thinner, because it's more narrow, it makes a different sound. And it sounds like this. Now, Orpheus was a musician that came from ancient Greece. And Orpheus could play every single musical instrument in the whole world. He was a multi-talented musician, much like certain people that I know, not naming any names. Paul Martin. Anyway, this particular musician, Orpheus, was out walking across a forest in ancient Greece. And he was busy playing his musical instrument. It was a merry little tune that went like this. Now, as he was walking along and he was playing his instrument, the forest that he was in was a magical kind of a forest with strange mythical creatures, not like the lava pig and all those ones we heard about, but rather creatures that were known as nymphs. Now, these particular nymphs were wood nymphs. They were girls that could transform themselves into nature. They could transform themselves into trees. There were all kinds of other nymphs, like sea nymphs, that could transform themselves into sea creatures. But these particular nymphs, they were wood nymphs. And as soon as they heard Orpheus's music, poof, they became trees, apart from one of the nymphs whose name was Eurydice. Now, Eurydice heard the music that Orpheus was playing and she was transfixed. She sat down on the forest floor and she gazed up at him with wide eyes. She listened to the music and she loved the music. Orpheus looked down and saw her. He was delighted to play music for one so beautiful as she. And he carried on playing and she carried on smiling, and eventually it came to the last note of Orpheus's song. And Orpheus put down his musical instrument. Eurydice stood up. Orpheus smiled. Eurydice smiled back. And Orpheus said, "Hello there." Eurydice said, "Hello." And Orpheus said, "You're very beautiful." And Eurydice said, "Well, you're very handsome." And Orpheus said, "Do you want to get married?" And she said, "Yeah, go on then." And so they decided to get married. It was as simple as that. Orpheus and Eurydice then went off to go and get married straight away. They invited people to the wedding as they walked. They invited all manner of crazy creatures, centaurs, part human, part horse, fauns and satyrs, part men, part goats. They invited hippocampus, which were a kind of seahorse, the head of a horse and the body of a fish. And these crazy creatures all attended the wedding, as well as humans and as well as Orpheus's musician friends. They were married straight away outside. Now, while they were outside, the conductor of the ceremonies, the great priest, declared the wedding was over and declared that they were husband and wife. And everybody let out a great big clap and a great big cheer. And then, of course, everybody said to Orpheus, "Orpheus, play some music. We want to dance." And so Orpheus began to play. "No," everybody said, "play faster. We want to dance quickly around this place. We want this to be the wildest party that nature has ever seen." Orpheus gave a thumbs up. The dancing started. Eurydice was dancing harder and faster than anybody. She twirled around and around and around and around and around, and then she stopped. She stopped because she felt a sharp pain in her ankle. And when she looked down, she saw a snake slithering away across the grass. Eurydice, she gasped. She recognized the patterns and the markings on the snake's back. This was a poisonous snake, and she could feel the poison rising up through her body. She could feel it closing in on her heart. And she slumped down dead to the floor. Orpheus went running over. He picked up his wife's lifeless hand and he said, "No, no, my wife, she's just died and we've only just got married. This isn't fair. In fact, I will go to the underworld. I will travel to the afterlife. I will go and see Hades, the god of the dead, and I will demand that I get my wife back." And Orpheus turned his back on his friends and walked and walked. And he walked some more. And he walked so far that he came to the edge of the world. There was a mighty river that flowed on. This was the river Styx, the river of the dead. If you stepped one toe into this river, you would be carried away by the dead that lived in the waters. The only way to get across was to catch a ferry. And there was a ferryman called Charon. Now, Charon was a skeletal figure with a hood, and you had to pay the ferryman. You had to pay Charon money. But Orpheus didn't have any money. Instead, he had his music, and he had his voice to sing. And he walked up to Charon and said, "Please take me across. I'll play you any song you want. What's your favourite song?" Charon thought carefully. He rubbed his chin, and he said, "Do you know the wheels on the bus? I like that song." Orpheus said, "Of course, I'll sing you the wheels on the bus." And he jumped into the ferry before Charon would change his mind. They both rode along, happily singing to each other until they got to the other side. And once they crossed that river, they came to the gates of Tartarus. They came to the gates of hell, and the gates of hell were guarded. Belle, Belle, Belle the dog, come here, this is your starring role. Belle. I think she'd fallen asleep. Oh, never work with children and animals. Belle. She's awake. Come on, good girl. Time to come up. This is your ferocious moment. Good girl, come on then. Now, Orpheus laid eyes upon the ferocious demon dog of hell, who looked nothing like this. Instead, the dog that Orpheus faced was a three-headed dog with a snake for a tail. A little bit like this one, only less fluffy. And Cerberus, the demon dog, started to growl when it saw Orpheus. Orpheus stepped towards that demon dog. It licked its lips hungrily. It stared at Orpheus. And just as it was about to lunge and attack like this, Orpheus took out his musical instrument and began to play. But he played not quickly. Instead, he played slowly. The hypnotic music that Orpheus played sent Cerberus to sleep. And then Orpheus went sneaking past Cerberus into hell itself, into deepest, darkest Tartarus. Ghosts swirled all around him. Jagged rocks stuck out from all directions. It was a lethal and deadly place. Spiders scuttled, rats crawled, snakes slithered, and Orpheus stepped on through it all until he arrived at a chair. But this chair was made out of human bones and topped with human skulls. And sitting on the chair was Hades, the god of the dead, who spoke and said, "What are you doing in my kingdom, living man? Go away." Orpheus said, "I won't go away. My wife has just been killed on our wedding day, and I want her back. It's not fair." "No, go away," said Hades. "Please," said Orpheus. "Go away." "Please," said Orpheus. "Go away." Well, Orpheus began to sing a song, and it was the saddest song that anybody has ever heard in their lives. It was such a sad song that it brought a tear to Hades' eye. And Hades said, "Oh, all right then. I know what it's like to love somebody and not be with them. My wife Persephone, she's only with me for 3 months of the year. The rest of the time she's on Earth with you living folk. It's so sad, it's so tragic. You have touched a nerve in my heart. You may have your wife back, but you must not look at her in her dead form. You must leave this place without seeing her. Only after you have crossed the river Styx must you look at your wife." She will be alive once she has crossed the river, but don't look at her here. Orpheus said, "Oh, thank you very much. Thank you, Hades, god of the dead. I appreciate it so much. Thank you. Goodbye." And Orpheus turned to walk off, but then he stopped. Was his wife Eurydice with him? He didn't know. Did he have to wait for her? Would she tap him on the shoulder to say that she was there? He went to look back and thought, no, I've listened to what Hades said. Only look back when you've crossed. When he walked past the swirling, ghostly figures, and he thought, what if she gets mixed up with all of these ghosts and she can't find me? Maybe I'll just... No, I better not look back. He walked over past sleeping Cerberus, who was snoring loudly. Right on through the gates, thought Orpheus. Is she with me? He carried on walking, and he walked up to the riverbank. And just as he was about to step onto the ferry with Charon, Orpheus looked back. He saw Eurydice in her ghostly form, and as soon as he laid eyes upon her, she was dragged back into the underworld, and the gates of Tartarus were slammed shut. Orpheus crossed the river with Charon, but there was no singing this time. In fact, Orpheus wordlessly climbed out of the ferryman's boat and sat on the riverbank on the other side. And while he sat there, he sang that same sad song that he sang to Hades. He sang it over and over and over again. And he did nothing else but sing that sad song. He didn't eat. He didn't drink. He didn't sleep. He didn't speak. He just sat and sang. And he sang and sang and sang until eventually, there's good news. Orpheus died. What I mean by that is he died and then he went back into Tartarus. And there he was reunited with his wife Eurydice. They were delighted to see each other. They could spend eternity together. And that's exactly what they did. And you might even say that they died happily ever after. What a strange little story that is, but I do quite like that story. Thank you very much to Belle the Dog for making an appearance. I think she is now soundly sleeping at the other side of my room. What activities could we do based upon that story? Well, what I was thinking was perhaps you could design a picture of what you think Hades, the god of the dead, would have looked like, sitting upon his throne of bones and skulls. Maybe he looked a little bit bony or skull-like himself. Maybe he had a human-like figure, but his head looked a little like this one. Maybe this is what Hades, the god of the dead, would have looked like. And maybe this
is what he looked like upon that throne.
Or maybe, like in the Disney film, he had hair made out of blue flames. I don't know if you've seen that on the film Hercules. That actually should have been called Heracles because that was his Greek name, but that's a tale for another time. You could also draw what Tartarus, the underworld, looked like. I described it as a place with jagged rocks and ghosts swirling all around, where there were spiders and rats and snakes, but maybe you imagine something else. Maybe you're imagining lava pits. Maybe you're imagining zombies. Maybe you're imagining, I think I'm describing Minecraft here. Anyway, maybe it did look like a bit like a Minecraft sort of a world. You let your imagination go crazy. You could describe Hades. You could describe Tartarus, the underworld. You could even make models of this place and send that to me. I'd love to see your ideas. I'd love you to share them with me. Now, I am only posting on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So Tuesday and Thursday next week, I will be posting here on my YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. If you didn't like it, don't say anything. It's nicer not to say anything at all. Also, every day that I'm not posting live, I will be posting another chapter from Quests and Epica. Now, if you haven't checked it out, yesterday I posted a video that featured Belle the Dog quite heavily. She wasn't quite as sleepy as she is today. And I read chapter 1 of this book, Quests and Epica. If you'd like to listen to that, that's on my YouTube channel now. And chapter 2 will be uploaded tomorrow. Next week, Monday, I'll do another chapter from Quests and Epica. Tuesday, live storytelling. Wednesday, chapter from Quests and Epica. Thursday, live storytelling. Friday, chapter from Quests in Epica. And now all the time, I'll keep giving different activities for you to do with your families at home or at school as well. Anyway, shout-outs. Shout-out time. If you requested a shout-out, hopefully, because I'm getting quite a few requests, then hopefully your name will be mentioned here. Once again, a big shout-out to all my new subscribers from Vietnam. Great to see you. I've also had subscribers from the Middle East, from China, and from across Europe as well. So that's fantastic to see. But a very local shout out here. First of all, shout out to Langley Park Primary School. Hello to all of you. Hopefully I'll get to see you again at school. Next shout out is to Freddie, who's in year 6, and to Harry, who's in year 3 from West Park School in Hartlepool. And a shout out to your dad, Kev, as well. He is somebody who could tell you a lot of stories, but it's probably best if he doesn't. Anyway, next shout out to Melissa, Lewis, Amelia, and Zach from Emmerville. Hello to all of you. To the staff and to the children at St. Joseph's in Camden. Big hello to you guys. Next to Finn and Owen from Summerbridge. Hi to you. Huge shout out going out to Mr. Elliott, to Miss Brewster, to Elisa, to Lewis, Amelia, and the 2 Zachs, who again are from Emmerville. Stay awesome, you guys. Next to Jace from Lovely Juniors. Hello to you, who got in touch via Twitter. And finally, to Finley Burden and all of his friends in Mrs. O's class at Mill Hill Primary School. Hello to all of you. And hello to all those people that have tuned in. And a big hello to all those people who couldn't watch live but have watched this afterwards. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget that you can watch this again and again on YouTube. As soon as it's been broadcast live, then it is there on my YouTube channel. So keep checking out the other videos that are on there too. Remember, you can get in touch via Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Tell me if you want those shout outs. Tell me if you want me to show the pictures that you're sending me as well. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you get all that extra content. Remember that reading takes you to other places. And that's what this live storytelling channel is meant to be doing, is to transport you out of your homes to imaginary worlds. And this imaginary world that's called Epica. So make sure you're having a listen to each of those chapters as they're uploaded. Next chapter will be uploaded tomorrow. And also, I did mention in the Epica post that if anybody wants to send me some ideas of where unusual places that you like to read in your house, then let me know. Do you like to read to your pets? Do you like to read to your toys? You could maybe send me some pictures of the crazy characters that you like to read to. But anyway, let's just stay in touch. And remember to stay positive, stay safe, stay indoors, and stay tuning in to this live channel. Thanks very much, everybody. I'll hopefully see you again soon. And have a great weekend. Have a great Easter weekend. Bye for now, everyone. Bye.